Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. Today is Wednesday. It is the 13th, 2019, and it's February. So, next week, I think we're actually into spring. So, that is awesome. I am definitely ready for spring. So, I know there's been a lot of talk today before we get into our topic for today. A lot of issues with Facebook today. A lot of people were having problems getting on, issues with stuff not loading and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure what that was all about this morning or today. But I didn't have any issues myself. So I don't. I know that like on my Prepper Nurse One page on Facebook, we couldn't load stuff over there. So I don't know what was actually going on. So anyway, so before we get started, let's talk about a couple things. Like I said, I like to always talk about these in the beginning of all these chats that we do. Please be decent to each other. Don't be a jerk. If you are a jerk, my moderators will kick you out and you will be blocked. So, like I said, just be respectful of each other and no racism, please, because again, that's not going to be anything that's going to be tolerated. So, I just want to put that out there for people ahead of time. There's always going to be one or two people that think that they can say or do whatever they want to do. And again, that type of stuff is just not going to be tolerated. Just putting it out there, being honest, okay? So, and again, once I'm done talking, make sure that if you have a question, it's all in cap locks, please, okay? So let's get into it. Wise Foods, big class action lawsuit against Wise Food. They had to turn over, it was 99,000, I think 405 accounts of people that bought Wise Food over to the government. So there's a lot of talk out there. Oh my God, oh my God, the government's going after preppers. The government wants this list of purchases made by people, so they're going to go after people. Completely blown out of the water. Hey, Prepper Rabbit, you know it, baby. Anyway, so it's completely blown out of the water. And any class action lawsuit, the information of the customers is always given to the plaintiffs so that they can actually go back and see who's entitled to what kind of a settlement. So let me rest assured, okay, let me put this the easiest way possible that I can. Any purchase you make, guys, in a grocery store, when you go to a grocery store and you use your discount card, like Wegmans is big, they have the discount card. So you swipe your discount card, and it is it's a thing that kind of gives you a discount on different items. But what they're really doing is they're tracking your purchases, so they know exactly what your pattern is of the purchases that you're making. Tractor Supply is another one. They have the discount thing. So if you're in their program, if you go to Save a Lot, they offer you to be in their program. CVS, they offer you to be in their program. There's all these programs, but what it really comes down to, they're tracking your purchases, it's information, and it's all used for marketing. Why do you think when you go on Facebook, let's just going to give a good example. You go on Facebook, and let's say in your computer you were searching for something, a product. You were looking for Berkey water filters. So you're typing away at Berkey water filters in your search. And then, well, let me go check on Facebook. And then you go on to Facebook, and all of a sudden, bam, there's an advertisement for Berkey water filters. Do you think that's by accident? No. Any kind of purchase that you make, be it, over the internet, any kind of purchase is being tracked. They know, meaning when I say they, I mean the government or whoever the people are that are trying to target people for advertising. They know what purchases you are making. So, this whole thing of giving these 99,405 accounts over to the government already knew before who purchased what and when. This is to narrow, this is for the whole class action lawsuit. That's what this whole thing is. Now, according to the class action lawsuit, that Wise had used deceptive practices. Okay, that the amount of food that was being advertised was not the amount that was being given. The false advertising is the fact that they were saying that it's enough nutritional value when it's not enough nutritional value. Like if you ate those Wise foods, you would never be able to sustain yourself. Okay. So let me I just wanted to put that out there in the very, very beginning. Okay. And so that's why that's like that. Okay. So any like when you have a credit card, okay, and again, I'm just going to give a couple different examples. You have a credit card, and you have the cash back option on your credit card. So they're tracking every purchase that you make. They know exactly what purchases you're making, and that information is all there for them. The only way that you cannot be tracked for a purchase that you make, guys, is when you pay cash. That's it. That's the only way. As long as you don't give your card for your little discount, that's the only way that you are not going to be tracked. Any purchase. So any purchase that's made, they know what it is. The government is not going after preppers. I just want to alleviate people's concerns about that, because if you have purchased with Wise, with Legacy, with Mountain House, with any of the other companies out there, somebody knows what you've purchased. Okay. Just because you purchase something doesn't make you necessarily a prepper. You're preparing for whatever disaster is coming up, and so you are purchasing stuff for that. Okay, it doesn't label you. You're not in all of a sudden in the database, and we're going to keep an eye on this one. Now, people like me, okay, that I am very much a prepper, and I live off grid. Anybody else that's putting themselves out there on YouTube, are we targets? Absolutely, we're making ourselves a target. We are absolutely making ourselves a target. So people will say to me, why do you do it then? I do it because, like I said, I have a calling that says that I have to try to help people. Okay. And because I've been in nursing for so long, and I've been a nurse for so long, actually May will be 25 years that I've been a nurse. Okay. Because I've been doing this field for so long, it's my natural inclination to help people. Prepping and living off grid, if people can learn from me, learn from my mistakes, that's what it's about. Okay. It's about figuring out what works, what doesn't work. If you can have me make a mistake and then I show you, because that's one of the things, guys, that I do on my channel. If I screw something up, I'm going to be the first one to say, okay, look, this is what I screwed up and this is why. Now, this is what I have to do to fix it. So I'm showing you how to do it the right way, maybe the second or the third time, but I'm going to show you how to do it the right way. So anyway, so it's like the big concern about this whole Wise thing. Now, did Wise do it on purpose? Were they deceptive on purpose? Realistically, only the management is going to know that, guys, not all the rest of us. We're not going to know. We're absolutely not going to know. So that's something, to take into consideration. I know Wise is on their third owners. The original people that had it, they sold it to a conglomerate. That conglomerate bought it and then sold it to a different conglomerate. So, one of the things that Wise is absolutely fantastic at is advertising. I mean, because you're going to see them all over the place. The advertising is going to be there. So they're really, really good at advertising, but they might not be all that great at food management. I can't sit here and say that they deceptively on purpose misled people. I can't say that because I don't know. It could have been an honest mistake, or it could have been done intentionally. And, but the reality is it's not what they were saying that they were doing was not right. Okay. So obviously people complained, went to the government. There's this big class action lawsuit. And I believe that, it could be like as little as $14 coming back to you. Oh, Mountain Girl, thank you very much, hon, for the donation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. That is going to, or I think it was like from 14 to like $1,100. It's something that these people are entitled to get that much money back because they were misled. The sample sizings weren't as big as they had said they were, and they weren't going to sustain you like they said they were going to do. And again, and I'm going to go back to Legacy, guys, and I'm going to talk about Legacy for a second. That's why I stand behind Legacy. Their sample sizes are bigger by 1.5. Like here's one size here. Legacy size is 1.5 compared to that one. Same sample or serving size according, but their size, Legacy's is bigger. Always has been. That's not deceptive. That's the facts. Nobody can dispute that. So That's one of the things I like about them. They have great customer service. They really take care of people, and I try to do that the same thing with my subscribers and anybody that buys through me. I try to make sure that I take care of them. Some people, I've had people like contact me recently. I haven't got my order yet, but if I put, as soon as I get orders in, guys, from people, I put them in as soon as I possibly can. And if the company doesn't get them out right away, there's one young lady right now that lives in Florida that's waiting on her order. It has not gone through yet. I mean, I put it in, but it hasn't shipped yet. So I always tell people, just wait. As soon as it ships, you will get an email that it's on its way. We try to make sure sometimes that gets mismanaged and they don't always get the email, but then they get their product. But, so anyway, getting back to Wise Foods, like I said, I mean, the only people that truly know if they were lying on purpose is the company itself, okay? But the reality is that their portion sizes were not as large as they said they were, number one. And number two, the nutritional value of their product was not there to sustain people. So that was misleading, and that was, a lie. So that's why they got this big lawsuit against them. And it's like I said, again, as far as giving those names over to the government, that's very, very standard practice when there's a class action lawsuit. So I don't want you guys to get all jacked up, read anything into it, okay? I really don't. I want you to be calm and relax and realize this is a very normal thing. Everybody wants to always try to read into a lot of things and oh my God, they're coming after preppers or whatever. And that's not the case. It really, really isn't. I mean, you could be just somebody that says, I wanted to get whatever Wise food, for this emergency or that emergency, and you made one purchase and you got whatever, 60 meals or whatever it is. That doesn't make you a prepper. That makes you somebody that's prepared. Okay. So like I said, please don't read into it more than it's there, because it's not. Okay. So I really wanted to put that, to rest, so people would understand that. All right. So you guys have questions. Is Venezuela still have no powers? There's parts of Venezuela that are still dealing with, they're dealing with brownouts, and there are some blackouts still that they're dealing with. Legacy is great for whatever comes your way. I'm going to tell you what, Hector just made that comment. I like the taste of Legacy. Now, I've never had Wise food, never tried it, never had any of it. So I can't say that it's good or not good, but I've had several people tell me that they have tried Wise food and it tasted like crap, okay? Now, if I'm trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic type of event, I want to have something that tastes good to me. That's why, like, when I got involved with Legacy, I asked them to send me a sample pack so I could sample some of the stuff. I told them right in the very beginning, I will give an honest review. If I think it's crap, I'm going to tell you it's crap. But like I said, it has actually been really, really good. Don't trust anything related to the government. Flushed Away just said that. You know what? Exactly. I agree with you on that. I don't really trust the government. Kevin said, I tried Mountain House. It was good. Tried Patriot Pantry. It was okay. Well, you should definitely try Legacy, because I'm going to tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, they're definitely the best. Let's see. Mountain House or Backpacker Pantry dried foods. That's what We're in the Last Days just said. Yeah, like I said, guys, it's whatever works for you, whatever you like. Like I said, I recommend Legacy. I keep Legacy myself. I also have Mountain House. I had Mountain House before I ever got involved with Legacy. And so, let's see. Venezuela was an EMP test before it was done here in the U.S. George Glass just put that up there. I don't know if that was an EMP or not, because if it was an EMP, it would have fried everything, and they wouldn't be having their power coming back on. So I think it is a disruption in the system that was done on purpose. And again, was it the Venezuelan government that did it? Was it the United States? Wouldn't it be convenient for the Venezuelan government to do it, blame it on the United States, make the United States look like the bad guy, and then they're the hero for getting it back on? I mean, that's just a thought. Could it be the U.S. government that was involved in it? Would not shock me. So, I keep an open mind on that. Is Legacy more expensive than Mountain House? Okay, John, good question. When you're looking at the portion sizes, if you look at the portion sizes, Legacy's portion sizes, again, are half again as big as anybody else's product out there. Do the comparison. Then compare the price of that product. Let's say you've got 60 meals of that product and then 60 meals of Legacy. Price-wise, Legacy may be a little bit more, but quantity-wise, per pound, if you will, Legacy is more reasonable in the long run. And that you can do that research again on your own. Okay. So yeah, so like I said, that's something to check into. So absolutely check into that. All right, let's see. Thoughts on food supply during the Yellowstone SHTF event? Well, like I said, I've talked a little bit about Yellowstone in the past here, guys. You're going to need a lot of food when a Yellowstone event happens, and when I say a lot, I'm talking years. If you can have a way to grow underground, have that. Realistically, what people need to realize, and I'm going to do a whole video on this here coming up, actually very very shortly. I might do it tomorrow. And I'm going to wait on that for that topic. I'm going to wait because I want to really go into depth about long-term food storage and sustainable living, because they go hand in hand. Okay, your long-term food storage is a stopgap and should be used in conjunction with hunting, gathering, gardening. But that's going to be a whole different video. Okay. Ed, does Legacy contain large amounts of sodium? I think the normal amounts. I mean, they have the breakdown right on there. If you look at this stuff, it'll tell you the exact breakdown. Let me grab one of my. I'll tell you. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Right back. All right. So here is. I'm going to show you this here. This is a Legacy potato soup mix. So we're talking, okay, so calories per serving. Okay, serving size is 2 cups. Serving size per container is 4. Okay, so we got 320 calories per serving. All right, we got, let's see, cholesterol, no cholesterol in this one at all. We have total fat is 17%. 49% of that is from saturated fat. It has 930 milligrams of sodium, which is 39%. Total carbohydrates is 51 grams. Dietary fiber is 2 grams, 3 grams of sugar, 5 grams of protein. It's got vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium and iron in this. They're non-GMO. Legacy stuff is non-GMO. It's vegetarian unless you buy the meat. They use sea salt. It's gluten-free, no trans fats, and low cholesterol. So just to give you an idea. So that's just one of the things. That's that's the potato soup mix. So I hope that answers that question for you. Okay, someone's talking about pay cash, order large amounts. That's the cool thing too. The bigger your order that you place, guys, the cost goes down, because if you're making a larger order, that cost per unit or per pound goes down. So if you can do it, that's the way to do it. That's just putting it out there, just so you guys know. Hey James, how you doing today? Let's see. Are you going to get water out of your well? How am I going to get water after the gas runs out of the generator? All right, good question. I have an artesian well. So what does that mean? That means that water is always coming up out of my well, always. So when I take my well cap off my well, my water is that far down right there in the pipe. Okay. So, I'm always going to be able to get water out of my well, because that water's always coming up because it's an artesian well. So on that part of it, I'm very, very lucky. Also, we have springs up here where I live like crazy. There's springs everywhere. My neighbors, they don't have a well; they have a spring box. So that spring comes right out, and they got a box that holds that water. So that's right there too. That's all gravity, right there. So water for us is not an issue. You need to filter water for drinking. Great comment, Steve. Great. Actually, fantastic comment. With the water, even though I have well water and I have fresh water, okay, I still filter that water before we drink with it or we cook with it. Okay, so all of that we definitely filter it ahead of time. Are ponds considered safe to drink or unsafe? Ponds are not safe to drink. Even if you have a spring-fed pond, you're going to have animal waste. You're going to have animals getting into that water, urinating, defecating, those type of things in the water. You're going to have bacteria and other things in that water. You're going to want to filter any kind of water from, I don't care if it's a running creek, you're going to want to filter that water, okay? Preppers, when you can use a hand pump. Yeah, Spike C just said that. Yeah, I actually have a hand pump, guys, that use for siphoning and stuff like that. So I could, and I also could put a regular hand on top and use that for my well as well. So I mean, I could just, with that, I could put down a 20-foot copper tubing or whatever right in there, and that's going to help with that as well. Do you plan on having or make a bunker? If not, why? I do plan on having a bunker. I absolutely do. I want to primarily use it for a cold storage, for longer term storage for food, and I also want to make underground. I want to make a freezer, like the old school type of freezers with ice blocks and sawdust, and use that underground to keep so that I don't have to have electricity for a freezer. What is your take on the modern feminism, like the Me Too movement, etc.? You know what? There's a lot of people, guys, that have been abused, okay? Men and women, not just women. Everybody always wants to focus on the women that have been sexually assaulted and stuff like that. A lot of men, as children, were also sexually assaulted. Men don't talk about it as much because of the stigma attached to it, okay? But there is, a lot of people. If somebody's been abused, I don't care who it is, that needs to be. People really need to get on top of that. As far as feminism goes, I think that if somebody has the equal capabilities of doing the same job, they should get the same pay. Okay. When you have a more physical job, men are just physically stronger to be able to do certain things. Okay. So, that's where there would be a difference in pay, in my opinion. Okay. CEO of a company, or, if you're running a company, it should be the same type of situation. You should be the same amount of pay, whatever executive position that you have, because men and women can handle those different positions exactly the same, and both can do a fantastic job. So I'm going to tell you what, like my daughter, she will be one of those people one day that's going to make a difference in this world. And it's, because she's grounded. Can you do a video on food rotation? How to store leftovers and how we should store leftovers. I could probably do that. Are you voting in 2020? We've had this topic before. I have never registered to vote. I have never voted. So, of course, I get hammered that I shouldn't have an opinion because I don't vote, which is BS. I can still have my opinion. I don't like politics, okay? I think, and again, and I've talked about this, left or right, two wings of the same bird. So that's my take on that. So just, it doesn't matter who you're putting in there, guys. They have an agenda, and it's not for you. And that's my opinion on that. So can you drink water that has been frozen and then thawed? Jean Ann, you really still need to filter that, okay? You really you still need to filter that water no matter what, okay? I mean, that is really, really important. If you drink tainted water, you will get diarrhea and you can die from dehydration. It's a very, very serious thing. Okay, really, really serious thing. So fresh water is going to be a huge thing in a post event, be it local to your town, be it for your state. I mean, let's look at Michigan, guys. Let's look at Michigan and what they're dealing with the water up there. And it's crazy, and they're still not fixed, and that's ridiculous. All right. Yeah, you can get pretty sick. Yeah, you can. And like I said, it can kill you. Diarrhea will kill a lot of people in a post event, more than bullets. Do I have an application to potentially be in your group? I'm going to tell you what, if somebody wants to be in my group, the first thing is you are going to be vetted, okay? There's going to be a background check on you to make sure that you are not a rapist, a murderer, pedophile, okay? Those type of things. I don't want those type of people in my group, obviously. So I would do a background check. I don't care about minor stuff, guys. We've all have a past. We've all done stupid stuff, especially when we were young. But if I get somebody and they have a rap sheet as long as my arm, and their most recent crime was 2 weeks ago, I don't person in my group, okay? So you definitely, I definitely will look at, who I'm going to have in my group. And I'm going to tell you what, and this is funny, and you may think, oh, that's BS, it doesn't work. I go with my gut a lot too. If I get a strange feeling about somebody, I may feel them out and where they're at, and my instinct is never wrong, to be honest with you. So, and the other thing, like I said, what people forget about too, if I want to bring somebody into my group, into my, say, inner circle, if you will, I have 2 children that live with me. So I'm not going to just bring anybody in here just because they're a warm body, okay? So that's really, really important too. Hey, Shane, thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. Use force from a creek on your land. Wind turbine. Yeah, that's a great comment there. That can be used for power. You can put that water wheel in there, and that can be a great power source if you have a running creek and stuff like that. And let's see. Dina says China has threatened the U.S. over Venezuela. Do you think they make good on that? I think right now what's going on, again, the same thing a year ago when we were talking about North Korea, and everybody was all concerned about North Korea. A lot of saber rattling is going on, okay? A lot of that is going on. Hopefully, and I say this, hopefully there is enough people with common sense to realize that getting into a full-blown confrontation, as in a nuclear exchange, is not good for anybody, okay? And so, that is not good at all, okay? So water storage for long-term glass or plastic jugs. Long-term glass would be better. Absolutely, glass is better. Plastic breaks down over time, so if you can store stuff in glass, that's definitely better. If you can have it in barrels that are designed to hold liquids for, that's even better, like a 50-gallon drum that's designed to hold water, and that could be a plastic one, but they're designed for that. What would your backup plan be if the well becomes contaminated? Again, great comment or great question. I have a tremendous amount of springs up in this area as well, fresh springs. So if one source of water was contaminated, there's a lot of other sources up here. I mean, I'm literally surrounded by a tremendous amount of water, so I'm really, really lucky in that aspect that water's never going to be an issue up where I'm at, and I'm at high elevation, so that makes it that much better. Do you see where Russia is deploying 6 nuclear warheads on submarines off the U.S. coast? You know what? I heard that, and we have the same thing, guys, off of Russia. Okay, we have nuclear submarines that are out there in the ocean, under the ice caps, all that type of stuff, very discreetly, that we can attack Russia the same way. So, again, that would be something that, again, it's a lot of scare tactics in that. Now, is there that possibility? Could it happen? Of course it could happen. Okay, but, again, I'm hoping that cooler heads would prevail. That people would realize, that was not good. Oregon Sunshine, what's Legacy? Legacy is a freeze-dried food company that I work with that does long-term storage of freeze-dried food. It is They have a 25-year shelf life. And actually, while we're talking real quick here about Legacy, and this is not related, and I didn't do this because I was making this topic today, so please don't think that they're correlated, because they're not. I got the email today. Legacy is doing a sale, which we obviously continue on with my website, okay? Anytime that Legacy does a sale, I do the same sale on my website. If I do my own sale, and I usually do my own sale at least once a month, it's totally, but right now I'm going to read this to you so I don't mess this up. 20% off of everything on Legacy right now. All Legacy products, 20% off on my website. And the discount code is March 2019. And that is running from tonight until the 20th. So midnight to 20th, West Coast time. That's how long that sale is going to run. They also have a sale right now on the 183 serving mega sample pack, okay? And it's normally $380. For the next 7 days, it's at $229, which is like a 40% saving. You're saving $150. Now, if you're going to order that off of my website, just contact me, and we can get that part, because we can't put that together with a 20% off just because of the way that works with a website. But if you're interested in that package deal, just contact me, let me know, and we can get that taken care of for you. We're going to give you a different discount. But those sales are going on right now for the next week on the website. So I just wanted to put that out there so you guys knew. Okay, so just so you know. But there's nothing to do with why I was doing this topic. That email came in after I already was planning on doing this topic. So just giving you the information that I get from them. Okay, so NATO equals the Rothschilds. Well, the Rothschilds have their hand in a whole lot of stuff. That is for sure. Have you heard about all the people who vanished from the national parks? I have heard about that. A lot of stuff with that. You got to realize, when you have people that are not hikers and campers that aren't doing this on a regular basis, and I know some people disappeared are very experienced hikers and campers, okay, but things happen, accidents happen, people slip, they fall. The animals, nature will take care of those bodies 9 times out of 10. Sometimes they find them, sometimes they don't. Have I seen the movie Blackout? Good stuff. Yeah, great movie. I did see that movie. Very, very good. Well, I just talked about if my water source was contaminated. Like I said, I'll mention it again real quick because somebody else just put it up there. I have a lot of different water sources up here. I don't just have one. We have a lot of springs up here where I live at the homestead, and I know I have other springs on my property where I'm thinking of putting over on the side here, where I'm thinking of putting my my pond. That's going to be a spring-fed pond because I know that there's a spring there. What 3 movies would you need? SHTF, what 3 movies would you need? Fun question. Oh, my God, that is funny. Oh, yeah, and serial killers. Somebody just said serial killers dump bodies in park. I think that explains it. Yeah, they do. They get rid of the bodies there because the animals will take care of it. What 3 movies would I got? You know what? I would really have to think about that because I have a lot of movies that I like. That would be one that I would have to sit down. If I had only 3 movies to pick from to watch for like the rest of my life, I would have to really think about that one. I really would. But that's a good question. What was the total cost of building your homestead? Upstate Living just asked that question. I don't know, to be honest with you, the total cost, and it's still a work in progress. So there's going to be more money going into the homestead. It is, it's an investment. I'm going to tell you that. But again, if you're looking at more sustainable living, a better way of living, less expense in the long run, like my building itself, it was a 3-year payment for my building, and we actually paid it off early. And we probably, on the inside of the building, we put $20,000 into the inside to get it, where it's at now. Could I put more money into it? I sure could. But, right now it's livable. So for me, I don't need a whole lot. Hey, and how many people can the Legacy food feed for the $380? It's 183 meals, guys. That's what that package is. It's 183 meals. So if it is, you want to break it down for a few people, that gives you an idea. And again, it's normal price is $380 right now. For the next 7 days, it's down to $229. So it's $150 savings. Okay, so how can you learn how to do stitches? Chicken skin or pork skin? Pork would be better because pigs, their skin is more like our skin. It's that same kind of consistency. Chickens can be used as well. You're basically just practicing sewing. So using a pig skin is going to probably be the better because it's more conjunction with us. But a chicken is fine as well. Again, that the needle that you're going to want to have has got that hook like this, okay? So you're going to have the needle, and then the thread is going to be back here, and you're going to hook that under just a little bit and come around, and then you're going to pull that together, and that's how you're going to close up that wound. So, and those are all out there. Anything you want to get as far as like medical stuff like that is all over the internet. How would you react to an alien savior who offered you an ultimatum? Well, it would be depending on what they were offering. Do I think that there's extraterrestrials out there? I absolutely do. I think it's very naive of us to think that we're the only intelligent life in the universe. So, it's interesting. Sew somebody up. Yeah, if somebody's got a wound that needs to be sewn up, you need to sew it up. I mean, they use staples now. They have the different bandage that you can like pull them together. There's all kinds of different stuff now. Kevin said I would shoot them, the aliens. It would depend. I mean, if somebody is so advanced, and if they could offer to help us in a good way, then that would be fantastic. But, again, you would never know. I mean, that is absolutely, hit or miss, so. Super glue is another way that you can do it. But again, there's a lot of other options that you can use besides super glue. East End, Long Island, New York City, a government employee, worth getting a property on the mainland USA. I would have something, again, higher elevation that you can get, guys. I think that's just the better thing to do, the smarter thing to do. If there is flooding and you're in a low area, you're going to be more susceptible to flooding. So the higher up that you can be, I think it's going to be better. Everyone needs to have a year of legacy food on hands for SHTF. Well, that would, it wouldn't be a bad idea. But again, I'm a big believer, guys, in being diversified with your food preparations. You definitely need to have like Legacy Mountain House, whatever your flavor is, okay? You definitely need to have that. You definitely need to have the rice and beans. You definitely need to have canned goods. You need to think about all the different things, honey, sugar, tradable goods, something that's going to be very tradable. So, there's a lot of different things, that's out there, but being diversified is really, really important. Really, really important. Yeah, a year's worth of, legacy food is pricey. It absolutely is. It's not cheap. But like I said, when they do a sale where it's 20% off is a good time to take advantage of it. I'm going to be honest with you. That is definitely a good time. Early on, it's largely about drinking water and willing to get skinny. Yeah, Steve, you're right. You get very, very skinny quickly. Again, the biggest thing, and I've talked about this a lot when talking about, an SHTF event. You don't want to stand out in the beginning. You want to seem like you're like everybody else. You're down and out. You're having problems. That everything sucks. You don't want to be having all the lights on and and flaunting that, because you're going to make yourself an even bigger target doing that. How long is potable water good for in plastic barrels? My advice to anybody that has water in plastic barrels, personally, I would rotate it out every 6 months. So dump out the old and put in fresh. You could probably get away with doing it once a year, but I would change it out every 6 months. Learn how to make fibers from natural materials for plants for clothes. Yeah, and again, animal hides can be used for clothing as well. Let's say you have rabbits. Now everybody knows rabbits breed like freaking crazy. Okay. And, that would be a really good source of meat, even though it's not a fatty meat. It's a very lean meat, but it's a good source of meat. And the hides can be used for a lot of stuff. And in a post-event, go into the store to buy a brand new pair of sneakers or shoes or pants or shirt or whatever, that's not going to be there anymore. So Let's see what we got here. Coffee filters make good toilet paper. I'd rather have real toilet paper if I can. Do I think a SHTF situation will happen this year? I hope not. I will never say never. Is it a possibility at any time? Absolutely, it's a possibility at any time. Again, a huge natural disaster could happen that will affect everybody. So those are really those are important. Okay, you really want to think about those type of things. Anything could happen at any time. So to be prepared as best you can be for that, that's the way to go. Now, somebody asked, do I stock up on sodas or other different drinks? What I do stock up on, I stock up on lemonade mix, Gatorade mix, iced tea mix. And the reason I do that is because if you drink water every day, just water, that is it's going to get old really quickly. Now, will you do it? Sure you will, because you have to have that hydration. But if you can mix it up, like having tea bags and making natural iced tea and putting it in a pitcher and having it sit in the sun and let that, just do its thing, or having an iced tea mix in a powder form, and having your Gatorade mix in a powder form. Gatorade mix is a great one to have because it's going to help replenish your electrolytes. So Gatorade is a great one to have. Somebody just put on here protein powder mix. Exactly. Another great one to have. So having those different things and having them in the cans, sealed up, great things to have, okay? Great things to have. What would you do if you was cut off from your bug out location? Smitty asked me that. If I was cut off from my bug out location, I do have backup plans, which I'm not going to get into. But my ultimate plan would be to get back to my bug out location. But I definitely do have other options that I can do. That's what it's all about with networking, guys. There's other people that have locations that you could go to and be safe. And if they get drawn off their location, they can come to you. Again, that's the whole networking thing. That is the whole networking thing. That's what I think is really important, even if it's a loose affiliation with somebody. That's the way to go. Okay, that is the way to go. So just remember to prep for your pets too. Survival Prepping 101 said absolutely, and that's you got to think about your animals as well. I mean, my animals are like my kids, and I'm not going to lie. That's just the way they are. They are family, and so again. So people have asked, would I eat my pets if I had to? If it came down to it, absolutely. But if SHTF, the best way to calm anxiety? The best way, a great question, Allie. The best way to combat anxiety before SHTF happens is to be as prepared as you can be. To remain calm when the event happens, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it probably 100 million more times, you act, you don't react. When you react, you're panicking, you're not thinking straight, you're not being rational. When you act, you're calm, you're relaxed, you have a game plan in place. You know exactly what you're going to do. 5G is causing cancer. Susan just said that. I don't know, hon. I honestly don't know. CBD oil. Somebody just put that up there. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing to have. It's helping a lot of people. A lot of people. I think it's a great thing. They should make it more readily available, and so that it can help more people. At what point do you abandon the job when you're on duty to act during SHTF? All right, if it is an SHTF situation and you know it's an SHTF situation, you absolutely 100% know immediately. If you have a plan, you have a bug out location, I don't care if they tell you can't leave. You get out as soon as you possibly can. If you got to sneak out, slip out, go out a window, however you got to do it, you get out of there and you get home, because you're not doing any of your family any good staying on a job after an event. It's not helping your family at all. So, and that would be that's the way I would do it. Would you serve again if the need called for it? JJ Biggs asked me that question. Honestly, I'll tell you what. No, I would not. Not at this point in my life. because my family comes first. I'm not going to have some idiot up in some secure area telling me to go run up that hill and risk my life for what? For them? No. If we were attacked in the United States, that's a whole different ball game. Then you would be looking at guerrilla tactics, guerrilla warfare. That's a whole other kettle of fish. I'm not going to have somebody ever again, dictate to me how and what I'm going to do in that aspect. So I would not serve again at this point in my life. And I'm also, I'll be 54 this year. So I'm probably a little old for them to want to have me back in. All right, let's see. My family comes first too. I would die or kill for anything in between to defend life. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, my family comes absolutely first. Yes, you can eat dog food if you need it. Absolutely. Wolf Fang just put that up there. Right. Absolutely. That's you definitely, you do what you have to do. People will eat a lot worse than dog food when it comes to SHTF situation, especially when they don't have it. So if you could get away from not doing that, that would be great. But no, Mike, you couldn't. There's just no way. This is a look that you just can't. You have to have the right head for it. Mike's busting my chops on here. He said, "Would I look as good as you if I shaved my head?" First of all, you got to have the right kind of head, guys. And I'm very lucky. I got a good head for having a shaved head. So that's funny. All right, guys. Again, questions in all caps, please. Wolfgang said, if I'm 55, military doesn't want me. I think like 50 is, like the cutoff that they would call people back. They wouldn't, anybody over 50, they wouldn't call people back then. Kevin H says it's got to be round. Yeah, you got to have the right kind of head. You can't have one of those weird indented heads. That doesn't look good on that. Yeah, I did my time. Me too. And I'm not doing it again. Let's see. I just got dog food from a manufacturer for food grade food. Oh, that's cool. Are you getting intel things are about to get worse? I do get information, guys. Again, with any kind of information that you're getting, any information that you're seeing on the internet, I'm a big believer in, and I've talked about this before, and this is one of the things that I really want to stress to you guys. I don't want you to do things out of fear. Prepping and being ready should not be done out of fear. It should be done out of common sense, looking out for your family, for peace of mind, and those type of things. So, that's why you should prep. You should never do it out of fear. And so, that's really important. And I think that a lot of people lose sight of. A lot of people are impulsive and they're, there's a lot of things, guys. There's a lot of things that can happen, a lot of things. And, you really have to, you have to look at everything. You take it with a grain of salt. You look at the information, you process it. Some stuff is more credible than others. And so you really need to look at it that way and just try to look at it, more calmly and relaxed, I think is the right word. And you just realize something is going to happen. None of us know exactly what it is. We might have ideas. We might think it's this. We might think it's that. But it could be this third thing over here that we didn't think about. So those are things that you really want to think about, okay? So, when it comes to that, you just being calm is the biggest thing. Top ramen, cup of noodles, rice and beans, etc. Prepared. Get yourself comfortable. Yeah, when it comes, the biggest thing, too, that I want you to think about, when SHTF happens, what you want to try to do, if you can, not necessarily going to happen, but if you can, you want to try to keep it, David, I'll answer your question in just a minute. You want to try to keep things as normal as possible, okay? You really want to try to keep things as normal as possible. So that's how I try to prep, because we never know what it's going to be. So, if it's an EMP, then my lights are out like everybody else's lights are out, okay? But I have other backups for that. but I want to try to keep things, again, as normal as possible. Communications are a huge thing. Somebody said communications is going to be key. Absolutely. Being able to find out what's going on, not to speculate, but to actually hear the chatter, see what's going on. That's really, really important. Now, somebody had asked me what kind of fish antibiotic they should be using for pneumonia. Again, that's going to be a personal choice, guys. If you're allergic to something, like some people are allergic to amoxicillin, so obviously you would not want to use amoxicillin. So again, I don't recommend that you do anything. I have stated that, will I personally use Fishmox? I personally will, and I would use it on my children as well. That's me. You can make your own choice of what you want to do, okay? Should you boil your first 5 gallons of potable water? You should boil all your potable water. Good question, Smitty. You should boil all of your water. Anything that you're going to be using for drinking and cooking, okay, definitely needs to be boiled. If you're getting it out of that creek, you filter it, or whatever. If you're getting it out of a pond, like with my well, I don't boil my water out of the well. We get the water out of the well, I run it through my Berkey, and then we drink it. So, but I've had the water tested, so I know how it is. So, I'm pretty lucky in that aspect. Where is the cheapest properties outside of the tri-state areas? You know what? You just have to look. If you could, the biggest advice that I would give anybody, if you're looking for property and you want to be out of a certain area, and higher elevation is a smarter way to go, in my opinion. Get in a car, take a weekend, and go for a drive, and get out up in those hills and look around. There's going to be properties for sale that you did not anticipate, that you didn't see online and stuff like that. You're going to get a lot of people that are, that are going to be out there, that are selling properties. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. You just got to put in the legwork, to be honest with you. If you can find a realtor and tell them your price range, and they can help you find properties that you can go and look at, it's another way of doing it, okay? Do you think they will try to draft women if it comes to that? David just asked that question. I think it would really depend on the situation. If they draft women, it would probably be more in a non-combat role, so that way you can free up the men to do combat. I know, like, if it's a worst case scenario, all hands are on deck, guys. So, everybody that's available is going to be fighting. And women are good fighters too. They really are. There's been, through history, it has been proven there's a lot of women that are really good fighters. They already have a court case that says women are now eligible for combat roles. Yeah, exactly. And I know that there's been women that have been killed in action, that have been wounded in action. It happens. Let's see. Oregon Sunshine says, I'm a great shot. I'm going to tell you, one of the best shots that I know is my mother. My mother used to go to turkey raffles, and she would always win, and the guys would get so mad. But my mom was a great shot, and I'm sure she can still handle a gun, as far as that goes. But what's your take on container homes? You know what? Again, a container home is a decent thing, again, as long as proper insulation. And, they're really good to, you can turn that into a home as well. There's a lot of different options. Whatever is comfortable for you, whatever you're comfortable with, it may not be the norm for everybody else, and maybe everybody wouldn't do it, but who cares? You're not trying to, the biggest thing I think people have a misconception of is they care what other people think, as far as what their home looks like, what kind of vehicle they're driving, and those type of things. I personally could care less. I've had people tell me, oh, you live in a shack, it's a dump, and blah, blah, blah. Well, and my reply, I always laugh, because I say, well, it's paid for, and I don't have a mortgage payment. My land is paid for. So, what are you paying for your mortgage or your rent? And who's the stupid one? So, that's how it goes. Nomads have the upper hand. Know your locations and resources. They can to a point. If you need to hunker down, though, where are they going to go? Do they have a place that they can go where they can hunker down? They may, but again, somebody that's a nomad, you're always going into unfamiliar territory with people that are not going to be as accepting, especially after an event. So those are things to think about. Do you think social media platforms are being shut down? I think they're being censored. Absolutely. Um, I've seen it happen to people that their videos and stuff are not being recommended. Their videos are demonetized, so it's not put out there by YouTube. And it's happened to me as far as the demonetization goes. And then maybe 2 or 3 days later, after you ask for a review because you know it wasn't anything bad in your video, you get the monetization back, but now you're not going to get the views because it's not something that, it's 3 or 4 days ago and people don't care anymore. They're looking for the latest and the greatest thing. So if you put an item in a Mylar bag and place it in an ammo can, will that protect it from an EMP? It's something, again, it would have to be grounded. You want to make sure it's grounded. You're going to want to make sure that I would put like a layer of cardboard in there so you're not having, like metal on metal type of contact. So that's how I would do it. Again, I would rather go with a galvanized garbage can. You got more space as opposed to an ammo can. So, as long as you're able to seal everything up properly, I think it's a good way to go. All right, let's see what else we got here, guys. People need to start cooking from scratch instead of box foods. Yeah, know how to cook. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, that person that has a chef in their group, they're going to be living life much, much better than the person that doesn't. If you have to bug in, what steps to take to make you safer? If you could get some kind of something on your walls to make sure that they cannot be shot through, or have a safe room, if you will, in your house. And in that safe room, you have a lot of your supplies. You have a huge amount of water. It's completely contained. Have it bulletproof if you can do that. So someplace safe that you can go and hide. If somebody's trying to ransack your house, it's a place where you can go and they don't know where it is. That's what I would do if I was bugging in. Okay. That's how I would do it. Let's see. What happens if you can't pay the taxes on your land, even though your land and your home is paid off? Well, you can get it taken away. I mean, that's just the way it goes. That's that's part of life. If you don't pay your taxes, they will. I think it takes about 3 years, and then they will take your property. So got to make sure you. Unfortunately, even though we're supposedly a free country, you're never free. If you don't pay your taxes, they will come and commandeer your property. That's just the way it is. So, but if your taxes, depending on what they are and depending on your location, the farther out you are, guys, the better off you are, to be honest with you. That's just the way it is. The farther out you can be, the safer you're going to be. The taxes are going to be cheaper. Oh, Scott, thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. You have a lot of trees there. How are you going to stop people from stealing your wood? Spike just asked that question. Well, when SHTF happens, people aren't going to be cutting down the regular trees to start with. There's a lot of down trees in the area, so they would, they would be using that. They would be cutting up the trees that are down. You need to have that wood seasoned. So will people take down live trees? Sure they will, but they're not just going to come on. And you got to remember, I'm out in the middle of nowhere in the country, and pretty much everybody in the country is armed. So, you're not going to have a lot of people doing a lot of stupid stuff once an SHTF event happens. I honestly believe, and I think this would be true out here, I think more people would be willing to work together. Not everybody, but that's anywhere. But I think the chances of survival, the farther out you are, it greatly increases your chances of living after an SHTF event, okay? Hey, Angie, thank you very much, hon. I appreciate that. She said, we love your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Let's see. Does Legacy Foods have a vegan portion? Yes, they do. They do have vegan. So if you wanted to, and check that out, they do have vegan. How do you take care of widowmakers around PN1? I don't understand that question. Oh, do you take care of widowmakers? Yeah, you have to. You got to watch those trees. What he's talking about is trees that are, are hanging. You don't want those trees hanging because those come down and they'll kill you. So that's what he's talking about. I don't have weapons. What would be a good first gun? Angie, for anybody, a first good, I would recommend two, to be honest with you. The first two weapons that you should have, one would be a 22, and the second one would be a 12-gauge shotgun. 22 because the ammo is cheap and it'll get the job done. A shotgun for home defense, for close quarters, close range combat. Double-aught buckshot with a 12-gauge. I don't care if you're a good shot or not. If you point it in the general direction of the perpetrator, they are going to go down. So those would be the two that I would recommend before anything else. So, all right, guys. Well, we are at that time again, which is amazing how fast this freaking goes. I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. That's important to remember, and I want you to remember that and think about that. If you can help people, we really want to try to do that. If you can't, I understand, but you really want to try to if you can. Remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So that's really, really important, okay? So tell the people that you care about every day. Truly tell them, because like I said, we never know. Also, remember STD, guys. It's one step at a time. It's one thing at a time and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish in life, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else can stop you. So, and stay away from that negativity. Negative people are miserable and they're unhappy. So they want you to be miserable and unhappy too. Okay. Somebody just said, hit the like button. So yeah, before we kick off here, guys, if you could hit the like button, that would be great. I would appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for coming and watching the show. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that donates. That's awesome. Very thoughtful of you, very kind. And I do appreciate that as well. And then, like I said, if somebody had asked me, what do I do with any kind of donations that I get? Everything goes back into the homestead to make our life here better so that I can do more projects and that I can show you guys stuff. So, and as soon as the weather breaks, guys, you're going to see some cool stuff happening here at the homestead this year. So I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One, out for now.